Path to Grace. It's an honor and a privilege for me to be here today. I always feel blessed. I always feel honored by God to record a new episode. I don't know why, for some reason, I feel unworthy sometimes to do the job, but God always reminds me that um, I called you to do this, and you have everything you need to be successful in what I called you to do. Okay, so that's my only motivation whenever I have to record a new episode. Is I'm not doing this for myself. I'm not doing this not about you, Lisa. It's about the one who called you to do it. During the week, I have a friend of mine. She reached out to me, and I told her the same thing. She's like, Lisa, I feel called to do this, and that's when I reminded her, it's not about you. It's not about how you feel. It's about the one who called you to do it. So that's the same thing about me. I feel like it don't matter how I feel when it comes to Path to Grace. It don't matter how unmotivated I feel sometimes to record a new episode. But guess what? It's not about me. It's about the one who called me to do it. So if you're new to the channel, if you're watching Path to Grace for the very first time, welcome. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to Path to Grace. Make Path to Grace your home. Make Path to Grace your go-to whenever you feel like you want to hear something from God. And I pray that God will always, always, always give you a word. Give you a word whenever you push or you press on the play button. God give you something. Even if you watch Path to Grace for a second, I pray that it will be the best second of your life. I pray that God will use Path to Grace for His glory, so God can show you His glory in your life through Path to Grace. Welcome, guys. I feel happy. I feel so happy. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to record a new episode. Couple announcement. YouTube is telling me that 60% of the people who watch Path to Grace are not subscribing. Don't forget to subscribe to Path to Grace so you can get notified whenever a new episode is posted. Alright? Like, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you think about Path to Grace. Let me know how I can improve this platform. Let me know what you don't like. DM me on Instagram. Tell me, Lisa, this is what I don't like. This is what I think you can do better. And tell me how I can do it better. Okay? And I will read it. I will think about it. I will pray over it. Then I will pray that God will help me to improve this platform. Because I know that a lot of things need to be done to improve Path to Grace, but I'm just taking it one day at a time, one step at a time, because I'm trying not to apply too much pressure on myself, because it's my first time doing this and I know that God is working. Okay? So here today, we are here to talk about the price of saying yes to God. I'm going to talk based on my own experience. It's different when you make experience. Some people talk about certain things based on what other people are saying. But what I'm going to tell you today is based on my personal experience. What was the price that I had to pay in order to host Path to Grace? For some reason, Path to Grace looks so small. 200 something subscribers. But it's not small. It's just a starting point. It's just a pruning stage. It's just the darkest space. And I'm not even talking about the subscribers, 200 subscribers. One day I had 0 subscribers, so we're growing. That's not what I'm talking about. Some people are reaching out to me, oh, Larissa, you're not making enough views. But they don't even understand that's the pruning stage of Path to Grace. That's the planting stage of Path to Grace. So now you're probably wondering, Larissa, what is the price that you are currently paying, or the price that you paid for Path to Grace to be where it is now? Even though it looks small, but it's big. You guys don't even understand how I feel whenever somebody reaches out to me about Path to Grace. I feel like, oh, what I'm doing actually matters. Because a lot of times I feel like Path to Grace don't matter. Like, why you keep doing this? It don't matter. But God always. This week, I was like, Lord, I need to take a break from Path to Grace, because I feel like it's not Path to Grace is not doing how I want it to do. Path to Grace is not growing how I want it to grow. As for me, I was expecting for Path to Grace to blow out in one day. But I was scrolling on Instagram, And then there was this guy, he was preaching. He said, do not ever let what you go through impact your ministry. Then I was like, I'm just going through a phase. What I'm currently going through, I have zero right to let it impact Path to Grace. So this is what I'm here to talk about today. The price, guys, that I had to pay in order for Path to Grace to be where it is now. And I'm willing to pay even more. I'm willing to go above and beyond. I'm willing to go even further because it's not about me. It's about the one who called me. And whenever I think about Path to Grace, I'm like, Lord, let this be a ministry, your own ministry. Let it work. Let it do whatever you want it to do. Let it be your ministry. And I remember a while ago, this is part of the price that you have to pay for the yes of God. Maybe my price may not be your price, but there's a price to pay for the yes. The first thing that I had to do is giving up on my flesh, giving up on my own self. I remember back then, I was saying that in episode 15. I was talking to Chia about it on episode 15. I was telling her, for example, just random example. I remember back then, I liked wearing crop top. That was my favorite. That was my favorite type of clothes to wear. Crop tops. And I had a belly piercing. So don't get me wrong. So I enjoyed wearing crop tops. And God convicted me about wearing crop top. Do you know how it feels to stop wearing crop tops so I can preach the gospel? Do you know what it feels to give up on something that you truly love in order to preach the gospel? The second thing that I had to give up on, profane music. If you're Haitian, you know what it means to listen to Rabodai. I love the Rabodai. There's not an amount of money that you could have paid me to stop listening to Rabodai. It cost me a lot to not listen to Rabodai anymore. It cost me a lot to not party the way that I used to party anymore. It cost me a lot to not go out with the same intention that I used to go out. Back then, I used to go out just to escape myself from certain things. But now I go out because I want to go out. Because guess what? My friends are in town. My friend is in town. Let me just go and spend some time with my friend. But back then, that was not the idea of going out. If that makes sense. So I had to let go of a lot of things. I had to let go of relationships, guys. I had to go out. I had to let go of what I liked. So I had to let go of what my flesh, my body were asking me. I had to let go of a lot of things. I had to let go of my own desires. And there are things that I used to do back then that I stopped doing because I'm like, Lord, I can lie to people, but I cannot lie to you. I cannot fake my own personality standing in front of a camera and in front of a mic, talking on your behalf. And the whole time I was living this lifestyle. And I think that God isolated me before I started Path to Grace. For the people who are close to me in my environment, I think they can feel I know they can feel the shift because I was isolated for a very long period of time. I was very isolated. I was in my own world for a good 4 to 6 months. I was in my own world. When I tell you that I was in my own world, I was in my own world. I left everything. You guys will never understand until you get in a situation where you have to let go of the thing that you cherish the most. The people that you love the most. The people that I thought that I would never in my life left. But I did it because guess what? When you got convicted by the Holy Spirit to let go of something, the more you hold on to it, the further you being from the calling. And when God convinced me to start Path to Grace, I didn't want to because I was like, Lord, I don't feel qualified to do it. But the reason why I felt unqualified is because I didn't want to let go of those things. I was talking to a friend during the week. I was telling her the reason why I was still resisting to start Path to Grace is because the lifestyle that I used to live was not aligned to the calling. Okay? So there's a price to pay, guys. There's a price to pay to say yes to the calling of God. I don't know what God is currently calling you to do. I don't know what your calling is because my calling is completely different than your calling. But whatever the thing that God is calling you to do, you will have to let go of what you love the most. I'm going to give you just a random example of what happened before I came here to the studio to record this episode. So before I came here, I was in my room. Before I came here, I was in my room and I was scrolling on Instagram, but I felt a desire to go on my knees and pray for this episode. And I was like, let me just keep scrolling for 2 more minutes because what I was watching was very interesting. It was a trailer from a movie that just came out. And I was like, let me just spend 2 more minutes watching this trailer and then I can pray later on. But what I didn't realize is I was postponing what God was calling me to do at that moment to focus on what my flesh desired at that moment. I don't know if it makes sense. So I went and I watched the full trailer. You know what happened when I watched the full trailer of the movie? It was so good that I went on Netflix. That I went on Google. I don't remember what platform I went to. And then I played the whole movie. So the disobedience, I thought that I could disobey for 20 minutes only, but I disobeyed like for a good hour. So when I got up, I was supposed to leave the house at 10 a.m. When I got up, it was already 9:40, 9:50 something. And guess what? My camera was not charged. My iPad was not charged. I didn't take a shower. And I was still on the bed. And that's when I realized that, oh, I didn't wake up to pray. Then I started begging God. I'm like, Lord, I'm sorry. I know that an hour ago you called me to go on my knees to pray for this episode. But that's not what I did. I went on social media. I was scrolling I thought that I could scroll for 2 minutes. What I thought could be a 2 minutes disobedience turned out to be an hour disobedience. So what I didn't understand is there's a price for me to pay for today's episode to be successful. There's a price for me to pay for today's episode to come out the way that God wanted it to come out. If that makes sense. So I was not willing to pay for the price. So for me, in my head, I was like, the price for me to pay for Path to Grace, already paid it, already let go of a lot of things. Guys, I wish I could remember all of them, but some of them hurt me so much. I remember there were times where I used to drive on my way back home or either coming from work or school. I used to cry. I was like, Lord, is this you asking me to let go of that? Because it hurt my feelings so much when I do realize that I have to go let go of this thing. But trust me, it was worth it. But what I couldn't understand is even though I paid the price for Path to Grace, and God is still asking me to let go of a lot of things. God is asking me to let go of my own character because my own character is hurting other people's feeling, if that makes sense. But I'm taking it one day at a time. I know. Because I've had a lot of people telling me, oh, Lisa, you're so strong mentally that your mental strength is hurting other people's feeling. I'm like, how? Because I remember this lady, she was telling me, you're too strong for certain people. And just because you're firstborn, your first daughter, you've called to be independent, it's always about you. You always have something to pour out in people, which makes you very strong mentally to the point where you don't even pay attention to those who are weak. And it makes sense. So at the moment, I was like, I didn't even realize that not getting up at the right time, not saying yes at the right time, caused me to waste 2 hours that I could have spent in the presence of God for today's episode. Because I usually pray before every single episode. Every single episode, I pray before every single episode. But today, I have to be honest with you guys. Today, when I woke up and then at 9:50 something, and I realized that I didn't pray for an hour. I was in the car. I was trying to convince God that I'm sorry. But I felt like that the Holy Spirit was so sad. And I could hear these voices telling me, Larissa, you've been disobedient right now. You're being very disobedient right now. And that's when I remember the story of Abraham. Everybody talks about the wealth, everything that Abraham owned, but nobody talks about the sacrifice, the price that Abraham had to pay in order to be the man that he is today. Nobody talks about the price that Abraham had to pay in order for us to be his descendant now. I was reading Genesis recently. And I realized that God talked to Abraham. God talked to Abraham. He told him that you are, before that, he prophesied, even before that Abraham had Isaac, he prophesied. He said that Abraham, you're going to be the father of many nations. But God didn't tell Abraham that I'm going to ask you to do something. There's a price for you to pay in order for this prophecy to come to pass. So Abraham became the father of many nations after his obedience when it comes to the Isaac situation. So what I didn't understand this morning is there's a price for you to pay for this episode that you're going to record. I require for you to spend an hour. I woke up, I dropped off my siblings to work, and then I went back home, and I felt the desire to spend the entire hour in prayer. But I was like, let me just scroll for 2 minutes. And these 2 minutes came out to be the 1 hour that I had to spend in the presence of God. So this morning, I was like, Lord, I do not even feel in the right state of mind to record this episode. While I was driving to come here to the studio, I was like, God, what am I going to say? What am I going to say to your people? What am I going to say to your people? Because I understand that this morning I disobeyed. But does it mean that you're not going to use me for your people? Does it mean that you're so mad at me that you're not going to forgive me? And that's when I understand, and that's when I understood in my spirit that God was telling me, I'm going to use you for your people, but you are going to talk to them about the price that you have to pay for the calling. There's a price to pay, guys, and the price can be simple and it can be hard to deal with. For example, this morning, the situation that I was in this morning was a simple situation. Just spend an hour in prayer. It was so simple, but guess what? I still didn't obey. I didn't obey. So when I do realize that, this morning I'm going to talk about the price that you have to pay for the calling, and I missed it this morning. And that's when I realized that today's episode is both for you and I. It's time for me to understand that, yes, every single episode is different. I already knew that every single episode is different, but I usually pray before I start every single episode. But I didn't know that it will be like this. I didn't know that this morning, God would ask me to spend an hour in prayer before I recorded the episode. I didn't know that He would be mad at me for not doing it. And I didn't even realize that I spent an hour scrolling because in my head it was just 2 minutes. So there's a price to pay for the general calling, and there's a price to pay every day. I'm not even talking about the reward, because today we're not here to talk about the reward, because a lot of time we enjoy talking about the reward of the calling, but we don't want to talk about the price that you have to pay. Jesus now is being glorious. Everybody can talk about Jesus, not only because he's God, but he paid the price. He went on this cross. He was beaten up. He paid the price to be the man that he is today. Of course, he will still be this man without this sacrifice, because of course he is God. But guess what? But this sacrifice that he made, the price that he paid, Paul paid the price. Peter paid the price. Stephen paid the price. Abraham paid the price. It's a price, guys, for you to pay, to say yes to the calling of God. There are a lot of things that you have to let go of. You have to let go of this friendship. You have to let go of this relationship. You have to let go of this job. You have to let go of this career, because a lot of times we start doing things without God, and when it's time for God to call us to do something, he will ask us to let go of this thing, because this thing was not part of his plan for us. Just like for me, I had to let go of my own style. And I was talking to Chia about it on episode 17. I was telling her that saying yes to the calling of God will reveal to you your own style. That's what happened to me. Now I do realize that there are things that I like now that I didn't like back then. But the reason why I didn't like it back then is because I don't want to say that I was never myself, but I was never who God called me to be at that moment. That's the reason why I never fell in love with these things, because I was not truly myself. So now that I'm myself, I pray that God keep on revealing my own identity to me. I fell in love with those things because they belong to me and I belong to them. I was never the type of person that would wear now a long skirt, a long dress. But I do realize now that I like long dress. They look good and they're still modest. And it's okay now for my entire body to be covered. And that's okay. And that's okay. It's okay now for my entire body to be covered. Now I have a jeans. I know it's whipped, but never mind. But it's okay for my entire body to be covered. So it's like God is revealing your identity to you. But there's a price to pay, guys. I'm telling you. I don't know who's currently watching this episode. I don't know what you're currently going through. I'm telling you right now, there are things that you have to let go of in order to follow Christ. There are things that you have to let go of. Not there are things. There are a lot of things that you have to let go of in order to follow Christ. There are a lot of things that you have to let go of in order to say yes to the person that God is calling you to be. And the first thing that you have to let go of is yourself, your own identity, who you are. Because it's not about who you are, it's about who God is calling you to be. It's not about the Larissa that you know, it's about the Larissa that God is calling her to be. It's not about who you are, it's about who God is calling you to be. Maybe you're probably sitting there right now wondering, Lord, who do you call me to be? God is not going to reveal to you in one day who he's calling you to be. No. But with time, with the thing that you have to let go of, the price that you have to pay. Do you guys know the price that Paul had to pay in order for the gospel to be preached? This man was in prison for 2 years with Silas. This man was beaten up. Peter, Stephen, they all paid the price. Abraham paid the price. Isaac paid the price. Jacob paid the price. Why we don't want to pay the price? Why I don't want to pay the price? Why that happened to me this morning? Why this morning I couldn't just put my phone down and go on my knees and start praying? Because I knew deep inside of me it was God asking me to spend this hour in prayer. Why you don't want to stop drinking? Why you don't want to stop smoking? Why you don't want to stop having sex before marriage? Why you don't want to stop? Why you don't want to stop? Why you don't want to stop living your life the way that you want to? Why you don't want to stop? Because you don't want to pay the price for the calling. God is calling you. God is calling you to be a brand new person. God is calling you to become his disciple. Guys, it's not easy to follow Christ, but trust me that it's worth it. It's worth it. I can't really tell you that the moment you come to Christ, everything will fall in place. I'm not going to tell you that your life will be perfect. But one thing that I'm going to tell you, you're not going to be by yourself in the journey. Not only God will put you in a community of people that can keep you accountable, people that can help you, he himself will be with you. He's with me, guys. And I know sometimes people are saying, oh, now Larissa is a brand new person. Yes, I'm a brand new person, and this is what God can do. If God can change me, God can change you. And if God is using me, God can use you. Because I'm not better than you and you're not better than me. And God loves us so much that he gave his only son in order for us to be saved. That's the message for today. Jesus is calling you. It's calling you to say yes. There's a song that I was listening to this morning. I think it's from, I don't remember the name of this group. I think the name is Only Jesus. I think Chandler Moore sang this song. I think, I said yes, 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 Lord, yes. I said yes, Lord, yes. I said yes. I said yes, Lord, yes. I said yes, I agree to pay the price to follow you. I said yes, I agree to pay the price to become a real disciple. I said yes, I want to be the person that you want me to become. I said yes. What I'm currently saying is for me too. Yes, Lord, I say yes about the grace. Yes, I say yes to everything that you're calling me to do in the future. I know it's not going to be easy, but you said in your word that you will never forsake me. He said that he won't forsake me. He walked beside me. And that's what the word says. He said, I will be with you. I will never forsake you. I will never leave you. That's the type of God that we are serving. The God that promised us that will always be there with us. The God that is currently telling us that he will never forsake us. But the only thing that he requires is a yes. Yes, I want to do it. Yes, I'm willing to pay the price. Yes, God. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, I agree to let go of smoking. I agree to let go of drinking. I agree to let go of destroying my body, to destroy my mental health. I agree to say yes. I agree to say yes to stop disrespecting my parents. I agree to say yes, stop cursing. Guys, there's a price to pay. And one thing that I love the most about God, he will make sure that the thing that you love the most, it will ask you to let go of it. It's not because it's not necessarily bad, but it's because he wants himself to be the main priority in your life. That's the message that I have for today. There's a price to pay. And I thank God for giving me this message for myself first and for you guys. I thank God for keeping me accountable. That means this morning I was not willing to pay the price. This morning I preferred to watch this movie instead of going on my knees and pray. And another thing that God taught me, forgiveness. That's part of the price that you have to pay. I have I have a friend of mine. I mean, back then she was a friend. She's not my friend now. Back then she was my friend, and last week I was going to text her. But I didn't have the chance to text her. For some reason, I ended up talking to her through another friend. And I told her I forgave you. Because this is one of the price that I have to pay for Path to Grace. I cannot be holding people in my heart and speak on behalf of the Lord. It just don't make sense. I had to call her and I was like, I forgive you. I forgive you. I forgive you. It's not that serious. I forgive you. Because I have to let go of you in my heart. I want my heart to be so empty. I want my life to be so empty. I don't have anybody in my heart. It don't matter what you did to me. It don't matter how sad you made me feel. It don't matter what you did. It don't matter. I forgive you. That's why I call her. It was hard for me to call her. No, not I didn't call her. A friend of mine called me and I talked to her. But I was willing to text her. I was willing to call her because I knew that I forgave her, but I didn't feel like I forgave her at 100% because I was not willing to text her because I was so prideful that I was like, I'm not texting her. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. But God helped me to forgive her. And when my friend called me, I was like, okay, I forgive you because I don't want to hold on to this in my heart. I feel like God is taking us to a wonderful place, and I cannot go to this place with people in my heart. That's why I pray. I'm like, Lord, I know that I did some things to a few people, not a lot of them, but I know that I've been, doing some things that I was not supposed to, but for some reason ended up hurting other people's feeling. I pray that you forgive me, and I pray that you heal them. Because this is one of the prices that I have to pay. And this is one of the prices that you have to pay, because you have to be willing to say, Lord, forgive me and heal those people. And I'm willing. I hope that God will give me the chance to see every single one of them and physically talk to them and say, forgive me for this. Because, sometimes you have people feeling without even know. And I was like, I would be like, Lord, not you, Lord. Like, I know that I was wrong for saying this or doing this. Forgive me. I'm sorry for what I did. Let's just move on. It doesn't mean that we are going to be friends again. It doesn't mean that, but at least I know that I forgave you and you forgave me. Because it's hard for me to forgive people, guys. But why does it have to be so hard when God just forgave me this money for what I just did? So that's why I was like, I know there's a price to pay. So I'm willing to forgive the people that hurt my feeling. I'm willing to forgive the people that didn't give me a good treatment. I'm willing to forgive the people that I was good to, but for some reason ended up being bad to me. I'm willing to forgive my parents. Sometimes parents is their first time parenting. They do stuff that do impact you as a child. And I'm willing to forgive them. I'm willing to forgive all my friends. I'm willing to forgive myself. I'm willing to forgive myself the past mistakes that I've made. I'm like, Lord, I know this is part of the price that I have to pay in order for me to become the woman that you're calling me to be. And I'm willing to pay the price. I'm willing to forgive myself for all the choice that I made that I was not supposed to. All the choice that I made that I was not supposed to. All the times that I could have made a better choice for myself, a better choice for my siblings, a better choice for my environment, a better choice for my friends, a better choice for my community. But for some reason, I was still selfish in that moment because I was trying to please myself. But I forgive myself. And it feels so good, guys, to be in this situation where you can forgive yourself, forgive other people. Yeah. So this is my prayer for you. I pray that God soften your heart so you can forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for all the mistake that you've made, all the things that you did and you know for a fact that you were not supposed to. But for some reason you ended up doing them because guess what? That's the best choice that you think you could have made in the moment that you were in. But I pray that you become the person that God is calling you to be. I pray blessing over your life, blessing over your career, blessing over your finances. And I pray that God soften your heart so you can be so humble in his eyes so he can be easier for him to use you. And I pray that you become so free mentally, physically, that freedom leads you everywhere you go. Mental freedom. I feel so good. I wish somebody could have asked me a few questions. I feel so good. I don't know how to explain this, but I feel so good now. And I feel so at peace with myself. And I enjoy the journey that I'm currently in. And I thank God for everything that happened that pushed me to be in this journey because it was worth it. And I'm not saying that everything is perfect in my life right now, but all I can say is I know what happiness is now. I know what happiness is. I know what peace is. Yeah, I know what it means to be truly happy. And I pray that God help you to experience what true happiness is. Guys, happiness exists, and it feels so good to taste. What am I saying right now? It feels so good to taste happiness, because the moment you taste the happiness coming from God, you would love to stay happy your entire life. So I pray that today's episode bless you. I pray that today's episode help you in the journey that you're currently in. And remember, there's a price to pay to say yes to the calling of God. There's a price to pay to follow Christ. There's a price to pay to preach the gospel. There's a price. If this episode bless you, remember to share it with somebody else. Let them know how this episode bless you and how you would love for them to listen to this episode so they can be blessed too. And don't forget to like, subscribe. Remember, 60% of you watching Path to Grace are not subscribing. Okay, so subscribe to Path to Grace. Let us know how we can improve this platform. And if you're watching to any podcast platform, please leave us a review. Let us know what you think about today's episode. Until next time, guys, stay rooted in Christ. Stay blessed.